Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, JC Courtside, coming at y'all today on Thursday, December 18th. I remember the day finally. I hope everybody's having a phenomenal start to their Thirsty Thursday. Not too many NBA games last night, but don't worry. I prepared a good-ass show for everybody tuning in. Remember, guys, we do these live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Fair warning, I've been letting y'all know for the last couple weeks, we will not be live next week. I am going on a cruise and will not have any service, okay? So we will be back the following week. We got today's episode, we got tomorrow's episode, and then your boy's gone, okay? So enjoy these shows while you got them. We got old shows if you want to watch those back. We also have our main YouTube channel, JZ Uncut, where we post documentaries, extremely edited, beautiful documentaries. I kid you not. These are things that you would watch in the movie theater. So if you do want more Jay-Z content, be sure to go to Jay-Z Uncut on YouTube. We are pushing for 100,000 subs, so go ahead and help your boy out. Now, guys, today we only have two games last night. It was Cleveland and Chicago, and then Minnesota and Memphis. So we will be talking about those games. We will be talking about the trending storylines involving with those games. All I have to ask, and then we have a fun segment that I copied from one of my favorite podcasts. At the end of this, after we're done breaking down both of these games and the trending storylines, we will be mixing in this new segment because I think it's really good and fits the sort of episode that we have today. So I hope you guys are excited for that. Be sure to stick around because I got some hot topics that I want to talk about with y'all. And seriously, I think what I pride ourselves most in with what we do around here is how interactive these podcasts are. Yesterday, I would like to apologize again. Your boy did get a little bit sensitive in regards to my Pistons. I'm learning how to do this, y'all. I was a gaming creator prior to this, and I was used to people insulting my gameplay, insulting my nose. Guess what? I embraced my gameplay. I embrace my nose, and I will embrace my Pistons in the right way. So that's my apologies. It might happen again, but I'm just letting y'all know. I apologize. I am cognizant of that. I do recognize that I am a little bit sensitive when it comes to the Detroit Pistons. Anyways, y'all, I got nothing left to say except we got to jump right into this podcast. But before that, podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. YouTube chat, TikTok chat, be sure to spam those like buttons up, subscribe, follow, because we do this show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Twitch chat, all y'all got to do is sit there and look handsome. All right, let's get into basketball. Last night, we had the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers, y'all, falling in Chicago, 127 to 113. Now, I have a very important fact to share with y'all that might have y'all saying, damn. The Cleveland Cavaliers have lost their 13th game so far this season. Last season, the Cleveland Cavaliers lost their 13th game at the end of March. At the end of March. Not exaggerating. I'm not kidding. You can look it up. If you are a Cavaliers fan, I apologize for bringing you into that deep, dark hole that I just said. You have lost 13 games, and we're still in December. You didn't lose 13 for another 3.5 months last season. Now, I'd like to say something. The Cavaliers have their 13 losses. Yes, they fall to 15 and 13. The thing is I've been talking about this team ever so lightly. I haven't wanted to judge the Cavs yet, but I think now it's time. I think it's time to judge these Cavaliers. I've been waiting. Cavs fans are telling me that we don't have Max Strus. I'm sorry, but Max Strus is your 5th offensive option on the court. 5th. And you're telling me we don't have Max Strus. If you can't figure this out when you're missing your 5th offensive option, do you realize that maybe something is actually internally wrong with your team? And for the record, JB Bickerstaff, you were not the problem. They fired JB Bickerstaff for Kenny Atkinson. JB, you were not the problem. JB Bickerstaff, in case you guys don't know, head coach of the, Detroit Pistons. He was fired because he said that his team is not playing with passion. He was fired because he said his team is playing soft. Cleveland wanted a head coach to hold their players accountable. And I can assure you, JB Bickerstaff, all he wanted were players that played hard. He got those dogs in Detroit now. He's got what he's wanted in Detroit now. Guys who listen, guys who fight for every possession. And the Cleveland Cavaliers, what they don't do is fight for their possessions. Last night watching this game, if you were to just watch this game and make a decision based off of what you saw, there's some obvious things that you would notice for the Cleveland Cavaliers. One, they allowed the Chicago Bulls to score their highest field goal percentage of their entire season so far. Now, one team's always got to allow that. But the thing is the Chicago Bulls shot 56.2% from the field. And the Bulls are trash. With all due respect, Chicago, my apologies, but you guys have been losing to some horrendous teams lately. In fact, you guys have been losing to the worst teams in the NBA. If you guys want to watch, they lost to the Pelicans. They lost to the Warriors, led by Pat Spencer. They didn't have Draymond Green. They didn't have Jimmy Butler. They didn't have Steph Curry. They didn't have anybody. Pat Spencer led that team. They lost to the Pelicans. No offense, my Pelicans fans. They lost to the Pat Spencer Warriors. They lost to the Indiana Pacers. They lost to the Brooklyn Nets. They lost to the Orlando Magic. That's a fine loss. They lost to the Pacers again. They lost to the Charlotte Hornets. They lost to the Pelicans. They beat the Wizards by 1, barely, and they were hyped off their asses. And then they lost to Miami and the Jazz. So they've been losing to quite literally the worst teams in the NBA, and yet they beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I was telling everybody, and here's the thing. I started this podcast at the beginning of the 2025-2026 season, right? I've only been doing podcasting for just over a month now, and I love it. I'm in love with it. I love this, and I can do it for the next 20 seasons if I truly wanted to. But I do remember when the Chicago Bulls started 5-0, I told everybody, look at what their opponents are shooting from the three. I'm emphasizing this because I mentioned it so many times. I said, look at what the Chicago Bulls are shooting. Their opponents are shooting from the three. For 5 games in a row, when the Chicago Bulls went 5-0, not to discredit their wins, but their opponents were shooting 21% from deep on 45 attempts per game. That is the worst three-point percentage since 1983 for having an opponent shoot 5 games in a row, 21% or lower. So it was literally, for the first time in 40-some years, that teams have shot that poorly against that same team for 5 games in a row, and that's why they started 5-0. Now, for the Cleveland Cavaliers, they were missing Evan Mobley. I don't care. I do not care. The reason why the season has been disappointing for the Cleveland Cavaliers it's not because they have 13 losses. It's because of how those 13 losses have come. Cavs fans are coping by saying, we don't have Max Strus. They said that for the first 8 losses. We don't have Max Strus. We don't have Max Strus. That's our biggest problem. We need Max Strus. That's your 5th option on the offensive side. 5th. That is your 5th option. So what people need to understand. Oh, did I lose y'all for a second? My apologies, y'all. Not sure why that happened. TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, we're all good. Y'all see the stream. Recording didn't stop. We're all good. Sorry, guys. When y'all do this live, you can't prepare for some awkward moments like this. My apologies. When you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers, their main issue is their development. I was told that by Bleacher Report, by analysts around the NBA, I was told a month ago that Evan Mobley would go number 1 if they redrafted that draft class. Number 1. I was told just 1 month ago that they would rather draft Evan Mobley if they did a redraft today over Cade Parker Cunningham. Now that is blasphemous. Evan Mobley has stepped up from the 18-8 stat line. He is averaging 19-9. That's not enough. That's not enough, Evan Mobley. That is not enough. Not just that, you look soft. Where's the Defensive Player of the Year action that you had? You look soft. Let's move on and talk about the rest of this team. Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell, I think it's time to start looking at him as a player, y'all. Donovan Mitchell is an all-star. Donovan Mitchell is an all-NBA. Donovan Mitchell is arguably the best shooting guard in the NBA right now. But is he a leader? I'm afraid to say that he might not be the leader that the Cleveland Cavaliers need for a number one option. And I don't think that's crazy to say, because year after year, Donovan Mitchell gets his team into the playoffs and they crumble every single year. He's had multiple best records in franchise histories with the Utah Jazz, with Donovan Mitchell. He is the leader of the Cavaliers, but I don't think he's leading this team the way the team needs. You can look at different star players around the league, okay? You could look at Jokic. You could look at Shea. You could look at Cade. You could look at Luka. The thing that's similar in all of these stars that I just named is that when they win, it's not just because of the points that they put on the board. It's because of everything else. And the only thing that gets this Cleveland Cavaliers team wins is when Donovan Mitchell minimum scores 35 points in a game. I'm sorry, but if your leader needs to score 35 points in a game, you are not going to have a successful year. And I'd like to just come at a lot of people I see about the Darius Garland, his camp. A lot of people are saying he's not the problem. He's not the issue. He's not the problem. I'm here to tell you that's a load of malarkey. That's a load of barnacles. Darius Garland has looked awful. Has he had one game this year where you said, yep, that duo's going to work? They were contemplating trading him. They didn't. Donovan Mitchell carried this bum-ass team into the playoffs last year. Everyone was hurt. He didn't have help. And that's what happened. Don't worry, I'm getting to them. I've been talking about Jared Allen for a long, long time. Jared Allen is not a starting center in the NBA for a contender. Plain and effing simple. He is not a starting caliber center for an NBA team. He's efficient. He plays good defense, but he's not a starter. The only way Jared Allen could be a starter in today's NBA is with one point guard that could use him the best, and that's Luka Doncic. Luka made it to the finals with a front court rotation of just rim runners. Derek Lively, no bag. Went to the finals because of Luka. Daniel Gafford, no bag. But he plays defense and runs to the rim. There's only a few big men that could do that and succeed, y'all. And they need that one point guard on their team to do what they need to do. Now, I'll be honest here. I've talked about the Cleveland Cavaliers very, very sparsely throughout this season because it was just too soon to make a decision. And it's still only December, y'all. It's still only December. But do y'all think, I don't, do you think that this basketball team has the ability that great teams do to flip that switch? Because I personally don't know. I think it might be time. One, maybe fire Kenny Atkinson. Use him as the scapegoat. A lot of teams play better when their coach gets fired. So get that hype off. Rattle off a win streak when your coach gets fired, like what every team does when their coach gets fired. I don't think he's the problem, but he will be scapegoated. And then you need to look internally. You need to look at your lineups. You need to look at your players. DeAndre Hunter, oh boy, I am seeing a lot of Cavs fans regretting that trade right now. I'm seeing a lot of Cavs fans say, I wish we still had Karis LeVert, who's now on the Detroit Pistons after they traded him to the Hawks in the second half of last season. Finished the season out with the Hawks and then signed a nice contract with the Detroit Pistons. And he's been absolutely incredible for a secondary ball handler, secondary primary scorer off the bench. And I know they miss him because here's the thing that Karis LeVert did. Karis LeVert takes some dumbass shots. He thinks he's Kobe sometimes, but for the majority of the time, he gets people open. He gets people open. He gets his own buckets. He's a shot creator. DeAndre Hunter, I've watched him a few times this season, more than a few. And all he does is run around the perimeter. He does not care about anything other than putting the points on the board. He doesn't care about defense. He's lazy. And when you have a player like that who's lazy, it infects the rest of the roster. I'm watching Darius Garland. I'm watching Jalen Tyson. I'm watching Dean Wade, Jared Allen, and Thomas Bryant just not run back on defense. Even if they had Evan Mobley last night, that's a 15-point loss. Steelers fan, thank you so much for the Prime Gaming sub on Twitch. And 666, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch as well. TikTok, if you guys are enjoying the stream and you guys want to get involved in the conversation and join a like-minded basketball community, be sure to join the Twitch stream, JZ Uncut. The link is in my bio. Get involved with the conversation with us, y'all. All I have to say remaining with the Cleveland Cavaliers is that first it was Max Strus. First it was we're missing Max Strus. Then it was we're missing Darius Garland. Then it was missing Lonzo. And then it was we're missing Evan Mobley. I'm sorry, but teams at that caliber that they're told should be able to perform under pressure, especially against the bottom feeders of this NBA. I hate to talk about the Pistons, but because they are the first seed, they're a lot to compare to. The Detroit Pistons have ran out 8 different starting lineups this year because of injuries. They've played multiple games with 0 starters in the game. They got it done. They won those games. The Pistons were missing multiple starters, all their starters, in multiple games, and they won those games. And you're telling me that you're missing your 5th option offensively and you can't win? I think the Cleveland Cavaliers need to make a move. I think they need to really make a move, whether it's Darius Garland, whether it's Jared Allen. I don't think they need to rebuild, but I do think they need to retool. I think this year is done. I don't think that they're capable of flipping the switch. And I think it's finally time to say, this is my final point on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Lonzo Ball is done. He's no longer an NBA player. He's done. And if you don't believe me, we can go ahead and look real quick at his stats this season. 5 points, less than 5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 25% from 3, 29% from the field. I think he's done. I think it's truly done. I really thought Lonzo Ball was going to be generational. That's not a hot take to say. I think he's done. He's playing 24 minutes a game. Somebody in the TikTok said he barely gets minutes. He's playing 24 minutes a game. He's playing half the game. You're telling me he barely gets minutes? That's why I like to shout out 666 and Moose for leaving the TikTok stream and coming to the Twitch stream. Because the Twitch stream is filled with smart basketball minds. TikTok, if you'd like to get involved in the conversation, be sure to leave that stream and click the link in my bio and come through to the Twitch stream, JZ Uncut. Let's move on. I would like to give my praise as well to, real quick before we move on, to Nikola Vucevic. I know he doesn't want to be in Chicago anymore, but hey, man, the fact that you're still pulling up and trying every other night, hey, man, I'd like to applaud that. The Bulls can trade Kobe White, and hey, they got Vucevic, they got Vucci, baby. They should trade him too. He dropped 20 points on 9 for 14 shooting, and that's another thing, is he was killing Jared Allen. I'm not talking like just barely scoring. I mean, he's killing Jared Allen. Jared Allen, your starting setter on a contending team. Nikola Vucevic was killing Jared Allen. It's just unfortunate, man. It's truly unfortunate. Haya, shout out to you for coming into the Twitch stream. I really, really appreciate you for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch. I'm going to read this message for a longtime viewer of mine, Mr. Burp. He said this in the Twitch stream. Yes, the Pistons are having a great start to the year. Do I think they keep it up? Most likely not. I love hearing about the Pistons for people who don't watch the Pistons. Let me continue this sentence. Will they make it to the playoffs? Can they depend on Cade to take 20 plus shots a game? Maybe, but if they do that, they are swept first round. I know you love them, Jay-Z, but that's my hot take, and I apologize. That's okay. You're allowed to make hot takes, and I'm just going to let it roll off my back and tell you that Cade doesn't take 20 shots a game. Last game against the Celtics, he shot 21. The game before that in Atlanta, he shot 10. Both wins, by the way. Let's go to Milwaukee real quick. Cade took 18 shots. That's a win. Portland, Cade took 15 shots. That's a win. Do I need to go on? I think you've seen enough examples. Burp, stick to the Cavaliers talk, because when it comes to the Pistons, nobody can out-debate them for me. I've watched every single second of every single game, and nobody can tell me what they don't know. The Detroit Pistons are not going to win the championship, and I'm telling you that now. I'm telling you that the Detroit Pistons are not going to win the championship. And if you're going to bring up stats saying that he's averaging 20.6 field goals attempted a game. That's because we're missing Jaden Ivey, we're missing Duncan Robinson, we're missing Asar Thompson. Like I said, they've been playing through an extreme amount of injuries. So yes, Cade has had to shoot because he didn't have a secondary scorer or a third scorer. So yes, the Cade Cunningham did have to take a little bit shoulder of the weight, but that's the thing. He's able to shoulder that weight and still pull out wins. The Cleveland Cavaliers, yes, tertiary or whatever it is. Thank you, Moose. Anyways, I'm not here to tell you that the Detroit Pistons are going to win the championship. I'm not going to tell you that. But their goal is to win a first-round series. And if they can get into the second round, win the second-round series as well. I'm a Pistons fan, and I just want to see them win one series. And I'll be honest, I think everybody in the NBA who's not a New York Knicks fan should be cheering on for the Detroit Pistons. That's my hot take. And I think that's an actual good take. Because the thing is, no other team is going to be able to compete with the New York Knicks in the East. The Orlando Magic can't stay healthy. Their 1A and 1B of Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero doesn't work. I think everybody who's not a Pistons fan or who's not a Knicks fan should be rooting for the Pistons. I'm going to move on. Because there's no other team that can compete with the New York Knicks right now other than the Pistons. I'm saying compete, not beat, compete. The New York Knicks they should make it to the finals. Before we move on to our next game, I would like to say a couple shout outs to my legends who just left the TikTok and came to the Twitch stream. My boy Scavvy Gaming, welcome. Very glad to have you in the Twitch stream. Hiya, welcome to the Twitch stream. Moose, thank you. 666, thank you. I appreciate everybody very, very much. I also want to point out something. People always say about the first seed, how, oh, they're the weakest first seed in this long. And that all started because the Atlanta Hawks, however many years ago, I think it was the 2015 Atlanta Hawks with Jeff Teague, Al Horford, and all of them, right? And my thing is like, you can say that, but the difference between the Cavaliers and the Pistons from last year and this year is that the Pistons are homegrown. They're all young guys. They're a top 5 youngest team in the NBA right now. The Cleveland Cavaliers, everybody was acquired other than Evan Mobley. And Evan Mobley has not developed into who they thought Evan Mobley was going to be. So it's a very big difference between the Cleveland Cavaliers first seed and the Detroit Pistons first seed, because the Pistons built off of what they grew. The Cavaliers just signed everybody. They didn't get to develop that team. All right, now let's move on, ladies and gents. And Darius Garland, but they got to trade him. Hey so, thank you for the follow on Twitch. Big shout out to you for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch. Let's move on to our next game. I'm not going to talk too long on this one. Today's episode is not going to be that long because we only had 2 mid games last night. But I would like to shout out the Memphis Grizzlies beating the Minnesota Timberwolves, y'all. And let's talk about this very quickly. Believe me, I know some of you guys hear Minnesota and you guys hear Memphis and you're like, But listen, I think it's very interesting because I have not talked about the Grizzlies this year. So I think now, and I honestly haven't talked much about the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I think that goes, and I will explain why I haven't talked about them. Let's start with the Memphis Grizzlies. They have won, I'm not exaggerating when I say this, they have won 9 out of their last 12 games, ladies and gents. They have won 9 out of their last 12 games. The Grizzlies, and guess what they're doing it? They're doing it without Ja Morant. A lot of people tell me, this is a hot topic, and I really want to bounce this off of y'all, okay? You guys know Atlanta, right? How a lot of people are saying they're better without Trae Young. This team is way better without Trae Young. That's not true. Trae Young betters that team. They need a facilitator. They need a ball handler. They need his shooting, okay? They will be trading Trae Young because right now, if they could get something for Trae Young, they would rather that. But right now, they're just playing without their star player, right? It's Jalen Johnson's team. It's going to be Jalen Johnson's team. A lot of people say that the Hawks are better without Trae Young. They are not, simply. But what I'm going to say is not a hot take whatsoever, and I think everybody will agree with me. Most times, people say this team is better without that player. And most times, it's recency bias. What I'm going to say is that the Memphis Grizzlies are better without Ja Morant. This is not a sample size. Because the same thing happened last year. Whenever Ja Morant gets out, this team suddenly sparks. Now, mind you, the Grizzlies just lost Zach Edey, and I thought it was over right from there. They were missing Cam Spencer, Zach Edey, Gigi Jackson, Scottie Pippen Jr. hasn't played all season, Ty Jerome, who hasn't played all season, but most importantly, they're missing Ja Morant, Jonathan Morant. You know what he does do? He shoots 19% from three. 19%. I don't see anybody talking about this. And fuck it. I normally don't swear, but fuck it. He's shooting 35% from the field. This is not a sample size, ladies and gentlemen. Ja Morant in the big 2025. You guys, I know a lot of teams need a point guard out there, man. I know a lot of teams need a point guard. Don't do it. Minnesota, don't do it. Houston, don't do it. Miami, don't do it. This is Ja Morant. Ja Morant creates offense for this team, but every team can go under on the pick and roll. None of them need to step up. None of them need to step up. I believe they are 5-8 with Ja Morant. He has played 13 games. They are 5-8 with Ja Morant. So you can't tell me that in how many games. He's played more games than they've played the same amount of games with him than they have without him. They are 8-5 without him. They are 5-8. Sorry. Yeah, they are 5-8 with them. Okay. And here's the thing. You can't tell me in how many games, because he was doing the same shit last year, y'all. He was doing the same shit last year. He played 50 games. He averaged 23 points. No, is that right? Yeah, 23 points. And he was shooting, let me tell you, 45% from the field and 30% from deep on how many attempts? 6 attempts. Ja Morant he's not a shot creator for himself anymore. Not anymore. I think he can develop. I think he can change, but he's going to need the right coaching staff around him. And my issue with Ja Morant is that he just likes getting people fired. He just likes getting people fired, and I don't like it. I don't like it. Again, I do have to go back. I like this comment from Hey So. He said, this is the same reason the Hawks are better without Trey. Offense becomes more team-oriented, and the defense gets much better. While I agree the defense gets much better, and I like seeing Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Jalen Johnson score more offensively, they need a facilitator. So I'm not saying they miss Trey, but they do need a point guard. Okay? My man Raph, shout out to you for coming through to the Twitch stream. Ja Morant is not flashy anymore. I'm reading comments on the Twitch stream. The only thing I like about Ja is that he's flashy. He has not been flashy in 3 years. And then I fear that Zach Edey is not going to have a long career in this NBA. I fear that. And it's really depressing because all of these big guys who come into the NBA and we think, oh man, they're going to be different. They just never end up panning out. I'd like to highlight something as well. The Grizzlies had a horrible game, but Minnesota had an even worse game. I got to take one quick timeout because I keep seeing this guy 666 in the Twitch. He's spamming this comment. Why is it so hard for the NBA world to give credit to OKC? I have a rebuttal question. Why is it so hard for OKC fans to be hated? Oklahoma is the best team in the NBA, arguably one of the greatest basketball teams in history. Why do you need a pat on your back every day that you guys are great? Everyone recognizes how great you are. No matter who comes out of the East, if the Thunder are in the West in the finals, it's over. So if you needed to hear that to start your day, 666, you're welcome. But there's no need to say this every day. You guys don't need me to say, good job, buddy. Good job. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. And since you're the best, everybody's going to hate you. People are already hating on the Pistons, and they haven't won anything in 18 years. I'd like to point this out very quickly. Memphis shot 43% from the field. 43. Minnesota shot 39.8%. 39.8%. The best player for Minnesota last night was Rudy Gobert. Now, I've been preaching that Rudy Gobert is incredibly important. Moose will be talking about that later. Stick around. I've been talking about it like unbelievably. Rudy Gobert is the most important player on the team, but he should not be your best player on the team. Without Anthony Edwards, this team looked lost. Anthony Edwards has been very weird this season, y'all. I'm not sure if you guys have been watching much Minnesota. I have not been talking about him often because they've been uninspiring to speak about. Uninspiring. Julius Randle's been solid. He's been consistent. Not a great game last night, but Anthony Edwards, he went on a streak of like averaging 35 points a game, and then he put up 3 stinkers. You know what I mean? 666, I respect basketball. I love basketball. I love the sport. And I will always talk highly of the sport as much as possible. But that does need some critiquing and some criticism without hating, of course. I'd like to point out something regarding the Minnesota Timberwolves. They need an able point guard. Mike Conley's not cutting it. Rob Dillingham, it's time to move on. He's not an NBA player, unfortunately. Dante DiVincenzo did have a double-double, but what's wrong with him? Why have I never seen an efficient game from Dante DiVincenzo in Minnesota? Anybody else? Am I crazy? I feel like I remember him just coop in New York. This guy can't hit anything in Minnesota. I understand he started last night. Why is this guy not efficient? I swear, I love this comment on the TikTok. He said, players come to Minnesota and forget how to shoot. That's the same thing with Detroit, man. That's the same thing with Detroit. Shooters come there and forget how to shoot until recent memory. Bones Highland, unfortunately, last night was not it. That was not it. 3 for 11. I was watching Bones Highland brick wide open threes. And speaking of, Jaden McDaniels looked so good at the start of this year. Without Anthony Edwards, he looked so good. What happened? It's like when Jaden McDaniels is told, all right, bro, you're our first option tonight. He goes out and goes crazy. But then when Anthony Edwards came back and he was playing and he was hooping, then there you go. Jaden McDaniels just takes a seat back and stops trying. I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, Minnesota was very uninspiring last night. I want to give shout outs to a lot of people on the Grizzlies, man. Jaren Jackson Jr., as soft as he's been looking this season, I mean, he put up 28 and 12, 10 for 18 for shooting, 2 for 3 from deep. Jalen Wells, love him as a player. Cedric Coward, one of my favorite players in the NBA right now. And they won this game purely because of Jock Landale. Jock Landale, I mean, if you're giving this dude up 20 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, plus 19, 8 for 15 from the field, and 4 for 9 for 3. He hit the game-sealing 3 that I watched. I mean, that was just... It's crazy. You're allowing Jock Landale to do that to y'all. You're not going to win a basketball game, man. You're not going to win, especially when your team is shooting 39% from the field. My issue with the Memphis Grizzlies is that, yes, they've won 9 out of 12. I don't know who they've been beating. Have they been beating good teams? Let's see. Not to discredit them. You're supposed to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. Okay? They beat Minnesota. No ant. They beat the Clippers. They suck. They lost against the Jazz. The Jazz are one of my favorite teams to watch in the NBA. One of my favorite. They just put the ball in the hoop, bro. That's all they care about. They beat the Trailblazers. They are awful right now. They beat the Clippers. They suck. They lost against the Spurs. Makes sense. They beat Sacramento. They beat the Clippers. They're beating teams they should beat. And that's great. Ja Morant has not helped this team. I think this team's a play-in team. It's hard to imagine that the Blazers and Jazz can pass this Grizzlies team. I'm pretty confident the Grizzlies are going to be a play-in team, and that's not a successful season. That's not a successful season at all. You went out and got Ty Jerome. He hasn't played. You were hoping Ja Morant could do something with new head coach. That hasn't worked. Jaren Jackson Jr. is too good for this team, and he's sort of like, I'm going to be honest, it's like he's sort of going through the motions when he plays for this team. It just hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. At least they've won 9 out of the last 12. That's great. But I don't know, man. There's a lot of teams in this league where I think that you should make a trade. And I think the Grizzlies are one of them. I think they're one of them. Get whatever you can out of Ja Morant because his value is only going to drop. It's only going to drop. Yeah, Ty Jerome hasn't played a single game this season. Neither has Scotty Barnes. They played in the preseason. And I remember Pistons played against the Grizzlies in the preseason. Ty Jerome went crazy. But he got hurt. It's unfortunate, man. I will say the future is much brighter in Memphis, and fans shouldn't be that upset. Y'all got Cedric Coward. Y'all got Jaren Jackson still. Y'all got Santi Aldama, who's been picking it up as of late. You got good young players, man. I think I'd be a happier Grizzlies fan this year than last year. So that's what I have to say. I don't really have much else to talk about Minnesota. I feel like one day over the next month, we're going to have a long segment about the Minnesota Timberwolves, because they've been disappointing this year. I mean, I have not been a fan of Minnesota basketball this year. They're 17-10, but I feel like what I'm hearing out of the commentators, like I've been watching the Minnesota commentators because I really like those guys, and they say, man, that's a bad loss, or that's a great win. I haven't heard many, that's a great win this year. rather than that's a bad loss, because they're losing games they should not lose. I don't care if you're missing Anthony Edwards. You have Julius Randle. You have Rudy Gobert. You have Jaden McDaniels. You have a good team. You have a very, very good team. Unfortunately, they just don't have a point guard. They don't have a primary ball handler, and their roster's kind of mid. I don't think this team is going to make the conference finals this year. Don't take offense to that, Minnesota fans. I just think that this is your worst roster in the last 3 years. Not to discredit Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle, but if not those two guys, who's going to put the ball in the hoop? Jaden McDaniels forgets how to shoot when he plays with next to Anthony Edwards. He doesn't touch the ball when Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards are on the court. I don't know, man. They keep choking games away, and that's why the commentators always say that's an ugly loss. That's an ugly loss. They need a point guard, and we've been saying they need a point guard for the last 3 years, y'all. 3 years. We've been saying that. Darius Garland, you are a Timberwolf. Okay, guys, let's move on. We have a very, very fun segment to talk about, and I need your guys' help. The best part about my podcast is that we do it interactive, not a lot like what other people do in their podcasts. So this is a segment that I picked up from No Dunks, my favorite podcast crew. You guys might remember the starters on NBA TV like 10 years ago. I think they were off NBA TV in 2019 pre-COVID. They're my favorite podcast, and I'm picking up a segment that they use a lot, and I think it's a very interesting one, and I think I need your guys' help to come up to conclusions with all of these hot takes that I'm bringing up to y'all. So basically, it's called Up or Down. Are you up or down on this topic? Okay, up means that you're for it, down means you're against it. So let me know up or down on these following topics. Okay, before we get into it, TikTok, if you guys are enjoying the stream and you want to get involved in a real basketball community, people who flat out enjoy hoops, be sure to join the Twitch stream, JZ Uncut on Twitch. My link is in my bio. Come through, get a shout out, come hang out with real basketball knowers. We do this Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. All right, y'all, get ready. First up, are you up or down on the New York Knicks deciding to not hang the Cup banner in Madison Square Garden? Now, in case you guys don't know, the New York Knicks yesterday decided that they will not be hanging the NBA Cup banner. I'm seeing a very mixed amount of answers. I'm seeing a lot of ups. I'm seeing a lot of downs. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm down on this. I'm fully down on this. And let me explain. I know we have a lot of Knicks fans in our community. Let me explain. I'm down on this. The NBA wants us to take the Cup serious, right? The players took it seriously. Like, very seriously. You guys watch these games. I'm up on it. I'm up on the Cup, but I'm down on them not hanging the banner up. I'll be honest, man. The Los Angeles Lakers hung up the banner. Okay? The Milwaukee Bucks hung up the banner. The Lakers have what, 17 championships? They made room for the NBA Cup. The Knicks haven't hung a banner since 1973, apart from your division banners that you hung up. You guys won your division. And you guys hung all those banners up, but you're not going to hang the NBA Cup? I think, personally, they should have hung this up. And I understand it's more of a statement. I like this comment on the TikTok. It's more of a statement. They want to focus on the chip. My issue is, ladies and gentlemen, if they don't win the chip, they won't. With all due respect, they won't. They won't beat the West. What are they going to do then? You can't say, but now we'll hang it up because we lost and we love the Cup. You can't do that. You can't do that. You know, I was talking to my fiance about this yesterday, and I really want to get involved in this topic. My fiance came up to me and she said, "Hey, I saw you getting really heated yesterday when you were talking about the Pistons and Knicks. Can I ask, like, wait, so who's a better franchise overall?" I said, "The Pistons." And she said, "What? Over the New York Knicks?" And I said, "Yeah, like every knowledgeable NBA fan will tell you that." And she was like, "But are you saying that because you're biased?" And I was like, "Obviously I'm biased towards the Pistons, but no, every NBA fan will come and tell you that the Pistons are more of a historic franchise in the NBA. They're more successful overall." And she was like, "What? How many championships do they have?" And I was like, I think 2. And I still think 2. Correct me if I'm wrong. And she was like, "When was the last time they won?" I was like, 1973. And she was like, "What?" So they apparently have 3 championships, but their last one is 1973. So again, I don't say that they're equal. TikTok said that they're equal because they have 3 championships. You're talking about plumbers and electricians, right? That's what the people you're talking about. So she was like, wait, why are the Knicks fans talking as if they're one of the best teams in the NBA? And I was like, I mean, that's just New York. Like, that's just New York. That's their personality. They're a very historic franchise. Yeah, I thought the Knicks only had 2. I thought the Knicks had 2. The Pistons have 3. And I was like, that's just how it is, man. I was like, the Pistons won in 04 with the best 5 alive. The Pistons won 2 with the bad boys. And the Knicks have 2. So yeah, the Pistons are a better franchise historically. She was like, but then why are they, so wait, that's why they're celebrating the cup as much as they are? I was like, yeah, but guess what? They're not hanging the banner. She was like, what? The first thing they won in 52 years and they're not going to hang it up? I was like, they're focused on the championship. They won in 1970 and 1973. That's what I thought. They have 2 championships. And this isn't about the Pistons or the Knicks. It's about the Knicks aren't even a top 5 franchise in the NBA. Like they've been in the NBA for a long time. And it's not the matter of who's more famous. They're a big market team. Of course, the New York Knicks bring way more money in than Detroit Pistons. But as far as success rate, we're talking basketball, we're talking about hoops, we're talking about achievements. The New York Knicks aren't like that. So why are they not hanging up the cup? You're too good for the cup. That's what I'm hearing. This is a major loss. This is a major L for Adam Silver in the NBA. Because I got to be honest, chat, we talked about this yesterday. I asked you all a very important question. Do you guys remember the question I asked y'all yesterday? I said, do you respect the cup? And the glowing majority, 98% of y'all said yes. The cup games were a lot of fun this year. And I told y'all, this is football season. And we're talking about basketball. The cup was successful. The cup was fun. Honestly, I was looking forward to watching all of those cup games because 98% of them were competitive. They felt like playoff basketball. So now the New York Knicks are just slapping Adam Silver and the NBA organization in the face. Like, guys, I don't think y'all understand. The NCAA tournament was also criticized back then. And now look, March Madness is one of the most profitable months in sports history. Tournaments were always looked down at, and then tournaments were loved. What? I'm so tired of going on Twitter and seeing Mad Dog, seeing all these other old ass NBA analysts who don't know what jack diddly say, this is a manufactured and inauthentic tournament that they held for the NBA. Bro, do y'all not like basketball? Because that's sort of what it sounds like. Like, do y'all just genuinely hate new things? Not everything needs to be hated on upon arrival. Let it breathe. It was invented 3 years ago, and it's gotten better each fucking season. My apologies for swearing. This is a family-friendly show. My apologies. But the New York Knicks, honestly, I'm down. Because if you do not win the championship this year, you are going to get brutally, and I mean brutally. You better not ask for that cup banner back. You better not ask for that back. Because if y'all don't win it all, they're not. No team is going to beat the Thunder or Nuggets. You cannot have that banner back. I don't want to see them hanging anything. Keep that Harry Styles banner that y'all have at the top of Madison Square Garden. Keep all of those division championship banners that y'all have in Madison Square Garden. Y'all got plenty of room. You should have made room for the NBA Cup. I won't be surprised if tomorrow you hear, never mind, they will be hanging it. That's such a slap in the face. That's such a slap in the face. You told your fans to victory lap. You told your fans to celebrate this win. Your players fought hard to win that. And you just say, yeah, we're not going to acknowledge it. It's not a part of our history. Yeah, because your franchise is more historic than the Los Angeles Lakers, right? Sorry for that rant, ladies and gentlemen. I just got very aggravated when I saw this news and I let it marinate in my head. Genuinely, it's sort of depressing. It's sort of depressing. Everybody hated the play-in. Now I think everybody loves the play-in. I personally love the play-in. I wish it was always in there. I wish it was always there. The play-in's a solid thing. Okay, guys, let's move on. TikTok, if you guys are enjoying the stream and you want to get more involved in the conversation and join a community filled with basketball fans, come join. Come rep your team. We're still looking for a lot of fans in the NBA right now. We're still missing a lot of fans like the Grizzlies, like the Timberwolves, like the Rockets. We're missing the Kings fans, Wizards fans. We're missing a lot of basketball fans, and we need y'all in the Twitch stream. Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. Come on through. I really need more fans. Like, we got a lot of Knicks fans. We got a lot of Lakers fans. I need a lot more fans of all these different teams. I need more Pistons fans. Join the Twitch stream, Jay-Z Uncut. The link is in my bio. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Ladies and gentlemen, up or down? Help me out here. Up or down? Are you up or down on Michael Porter Jr. being the missing piece for a contender? He's been in a lot of trade talks recently. I don't know if you guys have been on Twitter. I don't know if y'all have been seeing Shams. I don't know if y'all have been paying attention. Are you up or down on Michael Porter Jr. being that final piece for a championship team? I'm seeing a lot of downs and a few ups. I like it. This is why we do these sort of topics, y'all. This is why we talk about these trending topics, to try to gauge an opinion on everything. I really like seeing all of these answers. Thank you, everybody. Down as a Nets fan. Now that's big. Okay. Before I answer, Jimmy and 21 SDC, we got a Nets fan in the building, y'all. We got a Nets fan in the building. Yo, Jimmy, I'm going to need you to join the Discord, bro. Hell yeah. That's our first Net fan in the community. 21 and Jimmy, thank you for following the Twitch stream. Welcome to Bink Army. Shout out to you for joining the Twitch and leaving the TikTok. I am up on this. I'm up on this. I know that might surprise a lot of you guys. I'm up on this, and this is why I picked these topics, because they are highly debatable. I'm up on this. Now, I'm gonna explain. You guys know me. I don't just say up for no reason. I am up, and I'm going to explain it. If you disagree, that's fine. That's what opinions are for, right? We got a lot of Thunder fans in the Discord, Triple. Long live. Thank you for the follow on Twitch, my boy. Just click that link for the Discord link and you can join. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. Texie, thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate y'all very much. We do this Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. We got a Kings fan. Holy poop. Join the Discord. Join the Discord immediately. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit off topic. Join the Discord. We got our first Kings fan and first Nets fan. We are so up. We are so up. We are so up. We are so up. Exclamation point Discord in the chat. Join the Discord, please. Mods, spam that. Okay? Let's move on. I am up on Michael Porter Jr. being the final piece for a contending team. Let me explain, y'all. Let me explain. He won a championship in Denver, okay? Now, I know you guys are thinking, like, you know, that Jokic, that Jamal Murray, Bruce Brown, like that, all of this, right? I want to sort of talk about the misconceptions that were spread about Michael Porter Jr., okay? Jay, you can only join the Discord from the Twitch stream. The link is in my bio. Shout out to Matt for leaving the TikTok and joining the Twitch stream. I appreciate it. I'm up, okay? First of all, let's look at the stats, okay? And I know what you guys are going to say, so I'm going to say immediately what I have to say after, okay? He's averaging 26 points per game, okay? He's averaging 7.5 rebounds, almost 3.5 assists for a guy that said he doesn't pass, 1 steal per game in 33 minutes, and he's shooting 50% from the field and 40% from three and 81% from the free throw line. Now, I know you guys are all thinking empty stats, empty calories. I know. I hear you. There's a big difference with empty calories versus a player that's a hooper, okay? I also want to discredit a couple more things here. People say, health is an issue. Health is an issue for Michael Porter Jr. Guys, can we be so real? 2020, he played 8 games. He came off that injury from college. 2021, 54 games. 2022, 9 games. And then check this out, y'all. 62 games, 81 games, 77 games. Why are people saying that health is an issue? Why? So that's debunked. I've just debunked 2 things. He's inefficient and he's hurt, okay? Debunked 2 more things, okay? Let's talk about more things about my boy, Michael Porter Jr. I'd like to give special shout outs to my homie Long Live, Matt, and Avatar for all joining the Twitch stream from TikTok. Shout out to all you legends. Welcome to the community. Make sure y'all join the Discord. We got a Pacers fan. We got a Suns fan. We got another Suns fan. Guys, we need Suns fans. We don't have any of them. join the join the Discord, exclamation point Discord, join up, go to the roles and react to the roles of your team. Now, let me continue, guys. I'm sorry I'm getting off topic. We're just getting so many new cutie patooties joining the Twitch stream, man. Seriously. Shout out to all you guys, man. Join the Discord. We need y'all in there. We need more basketball knowers, okay? Listen, man, let's talk about this. Let's dive deep into this. We got a Sixers fan. That's our first Sixers fans, y'all. 21, I need you in the Discord. I apologize. I keep getting off topic. 21, we need you in the Discord. That's our first Sixers fan. Please. Exclamation point Discord. Join the Discord. Join up. And I love these comments that Jimmy's giving me in the Twitch stream. He's talking about Michael Porter Jr. and letting me know about him, okay? So let me explain. Michael Porter Jr., it was always rumored that he's a bad teammate. He causes drama. His podcast gets in the way. None of that has been ever validated by anybody on Denver. None of it. Now, maybe 10 years down the line, maybe. But nobody has ever said he's bad in the locker room. Michael Porter Jr. is a champion. Michael Porter Jr. is a bucket getter. Michael Porter Jr. is arguably one of the best shot creators in the NBA. And yes, he is on a bad team. But there's levels to this, ladies and gentlemen. There's truly levels. Do you guys remember DeMarcus Cousins? Of course you do. Boogie. Those were not empty calories on a bad team. DeMarcus Cousins was that good. Injuries derailed him. Michael Porter Jr. provided assistance to win a championship. They would not have won it without him. Michael Porter Jr. put these numbers up on a bad team on a good team on the same efficiency, and now he's putting up more numbers on better efficiency. Y'all, do you guys see how they're guarding Michael Porter Jr.? I'm just letting y'all know, as a Pistons fan watching us guard the Nets, it was 5 sprints at Michael Porter Jr., and we'll live with anybody else shooting. He's averaging these numbers with these efficiencies, all being the undisputed number one option in the NBA. Shout out to Swag for joining the Twitch stream, as well as my boy Avatar and Matt. Make sure you guys join the Discord and get involved in the conversation. Of course, don't be talking to the Discord while we're live right now. Come and talk with me, because these are discussions that we're having. But in case you guys don't know, in the Discord, during all NBA games, we're all yapping in Gen Chat, talking about all the games, live chatting in the chat, live chatting in the Discord. Last night, it was those boring-ass games, but my Discord chat made it so much fun because we were just talking about shit while the games are going on, because the games last night were boring. In my opinion, I'm up on Michael Porter Jr. I'm up. And I'll be honest, y'all, I know his contract looks scary, but it ain't that bad. It is not that bad. And I saw a comment on the TikTok, and I got to speak to it, because I've been thinking about it a lot lately, y'all. Michael Porter Jr. would fit best, I believe, with one team in this NBA right now. You guys already know who I'm about to say, so just answer it for me. Say my team for me. Where does Michael Porter Jr. fit perfectly right now? You got it immediately. Detroit. Imagine that. Cade will have an actual secondary shot creator. Let's move on to our final. Also, shout out my Twitch chat. Every time I start talking about Detroit, I told them to make sure you tell me to wrap it up, because I cannot continue talking about Detroit for 20 minutes on a podcast. Take Jaden Ivey, take Tobias Harris, take a first-round pick. Thank you for Michael Porter Jr. Okay. Let's move on to our final subject, guys. I need everybody's help here, ladies and gents. By the way, for all my newcomers that came to the Twitch stream, if you watch for 3 streams in a row, I gift you a sub so you no longer get ads for 30 days. Okay? If you watch for 3 streams in a row, I dig into my own wallet and gift you a sub so you no longer get ads. Okay? Nobody's doing that except me. And these guys can confirm that as well. How many of y'all have I gifted? Let's move on, guys. Get ready. Are you up or down on the Clippers denying all trades for their players? And no, that's not a typo. That's not a made-up sentence. It was just reported yesterday that the Los Angeles Clippers have been rejecting trade offers for James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Ivica Zubac, and believe that they can make a run towards the postseason once they get Derrick Jones Jr. back. Quote, The Los Angeles Clippers are rejecting trade offers for Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, and Ivica Zubac. NBA sources told Dallas Hoops Journal the Clippers are 6-20. They are in 14th place in the Western Conference standings. But since their 2026 first-round pick goes to the Oklahoma City Thunder, the front office doesn't want to blow up the roster, sources said. LAC still believes they can make a run for the play-in spot once forward Derrick Jones Jr. End quote. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the 100 pony rides, Triple. I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, do you guys remember how we were having that debate the other day? I think like 3 days ago. If you guys were here, you know. I was talking about the worst, how we need to one day do a topic, who the worst franchise in NBA history is. And you guys were saying the Pelicans, and you guys were saying the Hornets, and I was telling y'all, luck got in the way of the Pelicans. Health, it came down to luck. The Hornets, it came down to luck. The Wizards, it came down to luck. Injuries just didn't work. Development didn't work. But the Los Angeles Clippers, there's nothing unlucky about this franchise. The Kings, poor ownership. The Bulls, poor ownership. The Clippers are genuinely, I believe, and I've told y'all, the worst franchise in NBA history. And they will continue doing so. The fact that you're not open to trading any of these players, I know Lawrence Frank very well. I actually spoke to Lawrence Frank a few years ago. You guys might be wondering, JC, you talked to Lawrence Frank, the GM for the Clippers? Yup. He was walking right past me when I was courtside at a Pistons game, and I said, Lawrence, you suck! He was the head coach for the Pistons at that time. He looked at me and didn't respond. I was like 15 or 16 years old. The Los Angeles Clippers, I am so down. I'm so down on them deciding that nobody is going to get traded. Give Ivica Zubac to Boston, please. Make Boston just godlike again. Do it. James Harden, you're a Wong Dong. I'm kidding. James Harden's their only bright spot on this team. Kawhi Leonard, bro, just keep planting trees for that fake ass charity that you supported. I'm done. I'm fully out on the Los Angeles Clippers. I'm fully done. They got rid of Chris Paul, and that was my sign. That was my sign. I said, yeah, you know what? I'm done believing in this team. And you guys know what the real reason is? And let me explain, okay? Let me explain. It's not because they got rid of Chris Paul. It's not because of any of this. The main reason why they're not blowing it up, you guys know, right? Please tell me my community is smart. Twitch chat, tell me you're smart. Tell me you're smart. Why are they not blowing it up? Come on. I need one of y'all to know this, man. What's the real reason? Not the pick. What's the real reason that they are not blowing it up? Come on, y'all. Come on. Y'all know, man. Y'all know. Sort of tickets. Sort of. TikTok got it. They just built that brand new arena. Do you really think Steve Ballmer's bald ass wants that arena to be empty? Well, I have unfortunate news for you. Have you guys seen how empty that arena has looked? There's nobody in that upper bowl. Everybody was telling me they got to move New Orleans out of there, move them to Seattle. There's nobody in Inglewood, y'all. Have y'all been to Inglewood? Have y'all seen Inglewood? No fucking shit, it's empty. My apologies. It's a family-friendly show. I did not mean, I've sworn 3 times this episode. My apologies. They got to sell tickets, man. They need money. Steve Ballmer just invested how many billions of dollars into this org, into this new building, the Intuit Dome. The Intuit Dome. We have the wall. To be fair, the wall has worked. If you guys look, yeah, it's a very nice arena. If you guys have looked, teams who shoot against the wall have the lowest percentage at the free throw line. Fun fact. A lot of you guys might not know that, but the wall actually works. Like, I did not believe it, but you can look it up. It's a real statistic. They have the lowest free-point shooting percentage for opponents in that arena. It's pretty cool. Yeah, man, I'm down on this. Los Angeles Clippers are a lost franchise. And, yeah, blow it up. Blow it the hell up. I don't think I saw a single one of y'all say you're up on this, because I don't think we have any Clippers fans in here. If we have Clippers fans, I hope we get Clippers fans in the Twitch stream one day, because I need to talk to them. I got to get inside of a Clippers mind. I have to, because I haven't spoken to a Clippers fan before. Make sure y'all join the Discord, of course. Guys, I said this was going to be a short episode. We ended up running at about an hour long. We had 2 mid games last night. we had the Bulls and Cavaliers, and then the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves, and we just pulled out an hour podcast. Who's doing it like us? Who's doing it like us? Nobody. TikTok, we are ending the stream now, except the Twitch. We're still live on Twitch, okay? We're going to go ahead and preview because we got a lot of NBA games tonight. I'm going to do a generic pick'em. Y'all ready? I got the Knicks beating Indy. I got the Hawks beating the Hornets. Actually, that one could be closer. It's in Charlotte. I got the Heat ending their 5-game losing streak and beating the Brooklyn. For your sake, oh my God, Miami fan, my Miami fans in here are on S-Watch, bro. I got the Raptors beating the Bucks. I got the Thunder beating the Clippers. I got the Spurs beating the Wizards. I got the Rockets beating the Pels. My apologies, Leamy. I'm sorry, baby. Now, Pistons in Dallas. This is going to be tough. Anthony Davis has been playing really well. Cooper Flag has been playing really well. Give me Detroit, though. And then I got the Nuggets beating the Magic. It's in Denver. It's tough. I got the Lakers versus Jazz. That's tough, too. The Jazz got them. I'll go Lakers. I got the Warriors losing to Phoenix. Gotcha! And I got the Kings beating the Trailblazers. Couple upsets there. But that's my overall. Okay. Twitch chat, stick around. TikTok, if you guys want more stream, be sure to swing on into the Twitch. YouTube, be sure to swing on into the Twitch. We are still live on Twitch. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today. Make sure y'all stick around, Twitch. We got some stuff to talk about. TikTok, if you guys want more stream, be sure to follow the Twitch stream. The link is in my bio, Jay-Z Uncut. Come join a community of basketball knowers, basketball enjoyers, podcast listeners, 5-star rating and reviews. I appreciate all y'all very, very much. I got nothing left to say except for thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And as always, guys, thank you for watching/listening. I'll see y'all tomorrow for the last stream for a week at 9 a.m. Eastern. Love y'all. Twitch, stick around. TikTok, we're still live on Twitch. So drop a follow over there.